Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, good evening, whatever side of the world you're on. Good afternoon.
You're calling from.
Shall we fire up this poll again?
Help. This is Alex's help. We'll help you.
Love that. Good. Doom and gloom. Yep. Well, we were all asking for some sort of volatility to return. We got it. We got it.
Careful what you ask for.
Cosmos took a dump. Okay, be careful what you ask for. Exactly, Johan. Well said. Okay, so the numbers on this Zoom call are lower than normal due to the way that I don't know where the link's being shared. So it's not in any way a reflection of the work that we're doing. So just consider yourself very privileged to be here, one of 100 people. Long, short, are you bearish? I'm neutral. I'm confused. Yeah, I love that one. Present, Rudolph. I'm from Malta. Geez, that's definitely a place I want to go to one day. That is for sure.
There's a lot of confused here, hey guys.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, good. Love watching you
I'm
guys.
not confused.
Thanks very much, Ali. Appreciate that. Greetings from the UK. Good day or good afternoon. Leeds, UK. Well done. Welcome. Okay, well, we've only got 92 people on the stream, 102. So we need to have a chat about this maybe tomorrow, Jackie, in terms of getting an equal sort of spread. But Hans Bai, there we go. I want to come out there for the shark diving. We are the hardcore. Yeah, Aaron, we absolutely are the hardcore. If you're here, I've lost 8 to 11 this last. I've lost 8 out of 11. I was going to say 8 pounds or 8 kilograms. So confused would be an understatement. Okay, but Light Painter, I can be watching you. You produce such good charts, buddy. So that worries me a little bit. In fact, I was looking at the charts over the last couple, and I'm thinking they're so good. Anybody in trouble on to KuCoin? I know, right? Yeah. Well, that's why we're here, to get together as a community. Okay, so very, very even spread. I mean, if you take neutral and confused and bearish, it's bearish. No, I suppose you can't say neutral and confused is still what, 60%, eh? Good. Can you do another poll there quickly, Jackie? I want to know if you lost money or you were stopped out on this dump from yesterday. I lost money, I was safe.
Okay, give me a sec.
Or I was out. 3 choices. I lost money, I was safe. In other words, a stop loss, or I was out. I'm here working and just missed the KSM entry. I know. What's going on with Kusama?
Yeah, KSM has been wild lately, yeah.
It's insane. Got stopped out everywhere. So, guys, in case you think that we didn't get stopped out,
We did.
we all got hit. We all got hit, and that's why it's good to get here.
Yeah.
So guys, I actually wanted to show you this. Like yesterday, during the stream, we were looking at entries, and I had quite a lot of conviction on file, and I took the trade. And then obviously we dumped after that. So there's a present for you right there. So we all took some blows, but we're in this together. And sometimes we have good weeks, sometimes we have bad weeks, and yesterday we had a bad day. But the entries came, we've grabbed a few in sort of decent areas, and we're slowly clawing our way back.
Okay, there's Louis says I took Dave's strategy, kept adding to my long position and about to be in the clear. Okay, that's a lucky one. Be careful, that doesn't work all the time. I made money, I lost money, nothing happened. Okay, let's see what we're getting here.
Yep. Yo.
So just on that strategy, guys, on adding to your position as it goes down, it's all fine if the dump stops.
Right.
For some reason, that dump stopped quite quickly yesterday. I mean, some of us have seen dumps over the years where it just doesn't stop, and you refresh your screen, and because you think it's malfunctioning, you've literally been wiped out. So, and it hasn't happened once to me; it's happened many times. So, just be careful with that stuff. That's why you got to have a risk management plan, and you need to have a strategy that works for you, and we're here to guide you with that stuff.
The classic example of that is when you refresh the screen and the exchange just don't work no more.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had that in the FTX days when things were collapsing. Like you can't even open FTX. It like completely started malfunctioning.
Yeah, the
You
exchange
couldn't
actually
even do
freezes.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe put the spotlight on David as well, please, Jackie. That is true, and you've got to understand saying that a stop loss is not guaranteed. That's important to understand that. I mean, I remember the COVID dump on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was around just over $10,000, and we literally dropped to 3,000. I think it was 3,150. Didn't matter what stop losses you had; it just went through everything. And you might think that you're safe. Like, let's just say you had a stop loss at 9,500, and it didn't trigger. Depending on how you set the stop loss up, it actually executed at 3,150 at any rate. So no matter what, 80% of the people got, royally screwed.
Yeah. So if you're not like manually exiting on a limit basis and you're away from your PC or your trade and you have a market stop trigger, that exchange is just going to grab market sells or buys all the way down or up. So, if you click on your stop limit and you think you're going to lose $50 on the stop loss, go look in your P&L later. You're going to see you've lost 85 or 90. So just be very careful with that stuff.
I'm looking at the comment there from Platana Jones, and he's saying, I got screwed on the dump by stop loss not triggering. So that also depends the way you set the stop loss up. And I think it's something I don't want to do it right now because we want to do the overview. But I think, Jackie, make sure you hold that question because we need to look at how you set that stop loss up. If you do a market stop or if you do a limit stop, and there's a very, you can save yourself with a limit stop. A little bit more work, but you can save yourself.
We need to find out what exchange it is, as it goes, because I know certain exchanges, I've had personal problems with one exchange where my stop loss didn't get triggered. And then obviously the other problem could be the difference between the trigger and the actual stop.
Yeah, well, that's the limit stop. Yeah. So, David, I see someone's Mizi is very happy to see you. How were you in the dump yesterday? What did happen to you?
Yeah, no, I'm seeing some people, they said they're doing some of the same strategy here, but yesterday I got stopped out. In fact, I actually closed my position just because I was seeing some warning signals that it could go down to 24,000. And if it did, it wouldn't make sense to ladder into or do the buffer technique. But I did look at where I had a Gala. So I was a long on Gala and I did DCA a little bit into it. And then it just kept going down. And for me, I was just like, you know what? I don't want to stress about this position. I just got out completely, took a loss. But I was still in my render long. My average entry now is at 204, so that position's up like a couple 100%. And then I took a phantom long here. Looks like it's bottomed out. But yeah,
we'll get into the trades in a bit. I think what's important for the community to understand is that these things happen. These things cannot be predicted. I don't care who you are in the crypto industry. People come, I always said that Bitcoin is going to hit this price, but they said it 4 weeks ago. Now they claim victory on their claim. We trade day for day, we trade level for level, and we trade to be safe. So
predictions don't work. Predictions don't work.
No, on the whole,
people they say they got algorithms and crystal balls, and that does not work.
No, on the whole, we're right. On the whole, we do really, really well. I think we're pretty much averaging probably 7 to 8 out of 10 trades we're hitting. So if you're watching it and you're scared to take leverage trade, take the things on, take it on spot, but don't be scared to pull the trigger. And I know one of the people on the call that I'm talking to right now. So Martin, don't be scared to pull the trigger. Because until you actually get into that groove, you've got to do it. And taking losses is part of the game. It's almost like a cost of business. So it doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. No one could predict what happened yesterday. I mean, look this afternoon. I mean, Coinbase suddenly got sued by the SEC. We had a little bit of a dump, but now we've picked up. I mean, you've got to just play level for level. That's what we do. So are we going to do a quick high-level overview, Jay? Are you? Yeah,
we can do that.
All I want is my Bitcoin above the 200 weekly moving average before the end of the week. That's what I want. Then I'll sleep well.
So I'm going to start with the total market cap. So the total crypto market cap. And the reason why I'm starting here, because I just want to show you the reason why I went long half an hour ago, 45 minutes ago. So if we just have a quick start with the daily. And we've been in this falling channel since the middle of April. And at the bottom white line here, that comes all the way from the beginning of the year. So it's a major support line that was touched again in March. And guess what? We have come down to tag it once again. And if I go to the 4-hour, we have also got, okay, sorry, let me just, before we go to the 4-hour, you can see that this green block is a major support block. If we go back in history, this green block has been resistance previously and support previously, and I've marked it out here. Plus, we got this yellow 200 moving average on the weekly that comes through here. So 3 cases for support here. So we got the daily support line, we got the 200 moving average on the weekly, plus we got this green block here. So I identified that as being a possible area the market is going to bounce. Now, if we go down to the 1 hour, I actually went right down to different time frames from the 5-minute right up to the 1 hour. What I noticed with the 1 hour was we got a bullish divergence. So what I mean by that is that if we take yesterday's price at 6 o'clock, for example, it is the same area where, sorry, not price, but the market cap. It's the same level where we went to 45 minutes ago, yet the RSI, the relative strength index, is not confirming this drop. It's actually higher than where it was yesterday at the same time. So it was telling me that the buyers were possibly starting to come back into the market. And for me, that was a signal that I should rather look for longs. And you can see we've had a nice bounce off this area, and we're currently at 1.063. So the next resistance after that is 1.077, and then after that is 1.094, and that is the area where we dropped from yesterday. That was acting as support. So I wouldn't expect us to obviously go up in a straight line. There will be instances here where we go up, test a resistance area, possibly get rejected, come down again, find support, go up, possibly break this, go up and retest this area, and then we take it from there. So we just have to take level by level now going forward. But it is, just remember that the bulls climb the stairs and the bears jump out the window. So the bulls, when they go up, they take small steps. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Whereas the bears, when it drops quickly. So they say it jumps out the window. So that is what I saw with the total. Anybody else want to add anything there?
I am always going to remember you for that saying, like David, and I appreciated you saying it on your chat that you had with Jao. We must actually put that link in the description of that YouTube, because I think, David, that video of yours was excellent. And if anyone hasn't watched it about your 10 learnings from the competition and from Sniper, you need to watch it. It's a different interview to the one that Sheldon did with you. Please put it in the description. Yeah, Jay, I'm always going to remember you for that one. And that's why some people love shorting. Most people don't like it, but they think your profits are made far quicker shorting than longing, you know?
Yeah.
So
now, when we go to Bitcoin, same scenario, bullish divergence. So the RSI 45 minutes ago was higher than when it was at 8 o'clock South African time yesterday. Yet price was at a similar level. So that is telling me that the bulls are stepping in here. And that's also a case why I jumped in. Now, it's funny with the area we've actually bounced, because a lot of people were calling, and I'm not saying that we could possibly go lower here, but a lot of people calling that we're going to go down to 24, we're going to go down to 23, we're going to go down to 24,800. Now, if we start moving up here, what is the whales doing? They're actually front running where the masses are waiting to buy into the market. So it's one thing that we need to look out for. Where the masses are calling, it normally happens in a different place. So we've had a nice reaction off this 25,400 level. Our first resistance is going to be the Bitcoin 200 moving average on the weekly. Now that is up here at 26,420. And then immediately after that, we got another resistance level of 26,600. It's a level where we were yesterday when we were on the live that we lost. So I would imagine that we'll go up into this area and we'll possibly find a rejection up here. And we'll once again come down to a lower level. And hopefully the buyers will step in again and we'll get price to move off that level.
Nice, Jay. I see. Yeah, I mean, that 200 week is such massive, well, support and resistance now.
Yeah.
So it's a hell of an area to watch.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just brace yourselves when we get up there. We could get a monster rejection. But yeah, it would be lovely to break back up there.
Yes, absolutely.
Comment from the side. Isn't that a double bottom there?
Yes.
Forming now?
Yep. It is
Yeah.
a double bottom with a bullish divergence.
Yeah. And those are the things you've got to stack up. So great on your entry there, Jay. And but I think ETH's still outperforming Bitcoin. Am I wrong?
Yep. And what is interesting, guys, from this drop that we experienced yesterday is that two things I've noticed here. If we take the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, and what we're looking at here is whether Ethereum's out in Bitcoin or the other way around. And what we noticed was this was a drop yesterday. We had a small little drop down, but it got bought up very quickly. So it's telling us that Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin still with this drop that we've had.
Yeah.
And normally with a market that retraces, you know, the alts normally drop quicker than Bitcoin. So Ethereum should in actual fact be dropping quicker than Bitcoin when the market retraces. But the opposite is happening here. And this is actually very bullish for the alts because it's telling us that as Bitcoin drops, the cash is leaving Bitcoin and going to the alts. And if we go and look at the dominance as a second chart to look at, we can see what's happened here over the last 24 hours, if it can load. We've actually come down. We were over here yesterday at around about 47.5. And we dropped right down to 47. So that's another case that's showing us where cash is leaving Bitcoin and going into the alts with this current drop.
Okay.
Is there any other charts? When we look at Ethereum, let's have a look at Ethereum quickly.
Yeah.
So Ethereum has held up very well. We go on to the daily. We've been in a falling channel since the middle of April, broke out of it, and you can see that price has come down to retest that level. Plus, it's in this support level here at 1800. So
I like it. We made a higher low, and we didn't make a lower low like we did with Bitcoin. You know.
Yeah.
Found that quite encouraging.
Yes. So if you go into smaller time frames, you can see Bitcoin. This drop now an hour ago came down to the same price as it was yesterday, and yet Ethereum didn't do that. Okay. So Ethereum is definitely showing a lot more strength.
Yeah. I mean, I was sitting in some Solana and render trades thinking about this Apple announcement, and I was like, yes, please. As I say, I was flying, and when I got off the plane, I'm like, what the hell happened here?
Crazy, yeah.
It's crazy. Dylan, have we got any trades that we want to look at? Because I've got a good idea of what I want to chat with on the call today.
Yeah, I want to cover some of these areas yesterday that we were looking at, and you know, just show you where these things are bouncing again. So let me share some of these things. I just want to take you through some of these tokens.
McCarthy says wrecked.
Look, it wasn't a great day yesterday. You know, stocks were hit, profits were given away. You know, but again, we trade our areas. When we see these big red candles, there's no need to panic. You know, you've planned your trades, you know where you're exiting, and then you see these candles and it's opportunity for the next long or the next move.
Yeah.
So just make sure you always have your charts planned out for you. So you know where your next play is. I want to show you file because that hurt me yesterday. So while we were on this live yesterday, I said, guys, I'm taking this file long, which I did. I got stopped out and it's pinged down here. And you can see this zone yesterday. I had it pre-marked out. I didn't alert you guys to it, but it was there on the chart. And the reason it was there is because we had this horizontal stuff going on. And I got a buy in now today at 4.15. Okay, so that's where I am on file. My exit is, under these lows. So if it drops below these lows and I don't get that double bottom, so let's say this thing starts getting tired. I'm assuming this is what's going to happen there if we start pulling back. If that doesn't happen, reassess, and then I'm looking sort of down here, again for file. But this could take days, it could take weeks. So if we lose that, we wait. The same thing I've been doing with Matic I've been showing you guys Matic for weeks. We're just waiting. We're finally going to get an opportunity here or not, but I still like the 74, 75 area for Matic. If we get this chance, I think it's worth a crack. Here's a weekly. You can see why I like this area. We've got lots of candles in this zone here. So sort of anywhere in this box, I quite like Matic for a long. If we don't hit these lows, again, now's not the time to just randomly jump in. Let it play out. Let it break this trend, and then we can see where we are. So yeah, but this is my ideal zone down here. And Matic got hammered today. The SEC, they mentioned quite a few tokens, but Matic was on the list, right? ADA. ADA got hit. ADA lost the 200.
Yeah, Adam got
bounced
too.
Quite quickly. Solana survived. There was an interesting comment from Jackie regarding Sol saying, the NFT guys are buying Sol every time it comes down into this 20 region. So that's something to think about. There's a big NFT market in this Solana thing. So again, this was worth a stab at the 200-day. So any pullbacks down to this sort of area was probably worth a look, even if it's a scalp. Just to get this thing going again. I still think if things settle down now, there's still a lot of bullish stuff going around on Sol. If it doesn't just disappear. Yesterday there was Solana talk everywhere. So yeah, if that comes back, we're going to make our way back up there again.
I like that pin drop on the daily, whatever you're on there for, on the current.
Yeah, it's pushed up well. It turned green just now as well. So there's definitely buyers down here. XRP again hardly affected, guys. This is hit our support zone. There's the 200 week, there's the 382 horizontal, hardly affected. So we discussed this area yesterday. This was your buy zone down here on the pullback, and hopefully now this area holds, and hopefully we get this inverse head and shoulders playing out that we were quite keen on. Maybe that was the end. We get a double bottom there, and then we go back up. So if you got this buy at the bottom, your stop is probably, under yesterday's low, maybe a bit under that. And then, let's see how it plays out after that if we lose that area. Chris was playing around with Ape this morning, and he got a monster long. And I think he had a monster short. So you longed Ape and you shorted it. It was a good day.
Oh, no, I shorted it. I wasn't long in it.
Oh, didn't you long it? I thought you got the long. So well done. But anyway, there was a good buy here. So
I got stopped because it didn't hit my TP.
Okay. Well, look, there was a good area here, the daily. It's these daily candles here. There was a nice cluster here. So if Ape was on your watch list, it wasn't on mine. It's basically, there's a gift here for you. You see an area like that and you see it coming down fast, there's very good odds you're going to get a bounce. Obviously, you don't know how hard the bounce is going to be, but Ape, they gave us 14% today. So, look for these big cluster areas on higher time frame, daily, weekly. You always going to get a reaction. That's why I'm so keen on this Matic. And you've seen Atom. We've traded Atom many times off that weekly area, which is now lost, funnily enough. So now we got to reassess where we are. It gives you a gift and a gift and a gift, and then one day it just stops, So, use those areas to your advantage. Here's injective, 8 hour. We pulled the 618 fib. Same situation. You sometimes pull these fibs and you show these areas, you never think it's going to get there, but here we are. So if you had this plotted on your chart, here's your long, you were there off the 618, it pinged it perfectly. So if you were ready for it yesterday, you would have caught this one. Render, same story. I mean, look how beautiful this was. Look at the 618 here, pinged right off there. We couldn't have planned it better. It just fell perfectly into that pocket. So, if you were a render trader there, you probably would have tried to grab this one.
And it shows you, just having cheeky orders in those areas often pays off, eh?
And pre-planning your levels. So like when you see these candles dropping, like just don't panic, just rather be excited because there's an opportunity coming. So it's okay, if you get stopped on the way down, that's fine, but we're going to catch the next one. And once render lost this area, it fell 9%,
Yeah.
So as long as you have risk management, your stop would have been under this low over there. You would have been out, would have dropped another 8% or whatever, and you would have caught this long on the way back. Now it's at resistance. So if you caught this long, this is a TP area now, until proven otherwise. You've got a 10% move. Probably time to take something off the table there. AVAX, again, weekly support. I've marked this. We've discussed this many times. It's a big area, okay? So it's come down once again to weekly support, dipped just below, but we got our bounce. Again, holding. So, until it stops holding, we trade these areas. File we've covered. Optimism. I mean, this is one we brought up, I think, late last week. We were looking at optimism.
Yeah, we were.
This is a big area for us. And we got the fib here. We've got the horizontals. Like, it was just a good looking area, and it's fallen into this place. Obviously, we had this massive wick down, but look how quickly it's recovered in this zone. This would have been a tricky one to trade because, we lost this level. So they were probably just, faking us out there. But now we got a big move here off this area, 786 horizontal, VET, this was an interesting one. I haven't been trading VET since like 2021, but this is a weekly trend for you guys. I don't have much else here. I don't have fibs and things like that. I've just got some horizontal and a weekly, but an interesting area for VET. If this area doesn't hold, we're probably going to go down here, so if you like VET or you're buying at spot or whatever the story is, not the worst place to have a go. If we lose that 13% on the way down.
Yeah.
This is your favorite one, Craig.
No, well, that's what I was going to say. You need to bring up my favorite.
Well, it's here and it's ready. It's in the box.
Okay, it's in the box and I bought.
Yeah.
So I said I was waiting for the 200-day, and I was sitting there this morning and I thought, well, as much as you don't feel like buying, it's like, well, that was my decision, so I bought.
Yeah. You planned the area, you did your research, it's something you like. This is a good buy zone for you. And here we are. Now's your opportunity, So
I just don't want that lower level. I don't want that 750. I want it to hang in here at the 200-day.
Yeah. Look, so I mean, it depends. I mean, you're obviously viewing this fundamentally as something you want to hold anyway.
Yes.
So, you would probably just top up again. If we lose this area, you'd probably wait,
I'm not giving
and
up
you
the
buy
position,
some more down here. Yeah. So if you're trading it, I don't even know if there's leverage options on this thing, but if you're trading it, you probably want to exit under the daily candle. So probably in that region. But again, like, this is a great sort of DCA zone for Luxo.
Yeah, no, very happy with that falling wedge, 200-day moving average, 618 retracement, and it's a coin that I've had my eye on for literally years.
Yeah, and you've waited well for this. You've been very patient. We've been talking about this thing for a while. So again, you got to plan your trades and just give it time. Just be patient.
It is nerve-wracking, I have to say, when the market's like pulling down and you're like, shit, do I buy now? It's like, it's hard. Yeah,
No,
that's
it's tough.
it is
I mean, like I went and bought file in my zone because you mustn't be fearful. Like if you planned your trade and you've got your area, you must just go and you must
Yeah.
take it.
100%.
And you've seen all these zones they've bounced. Unfortunately, it didn't bounce on file for me yesterday.
Yeah.
Guys, here's Litecoin. So this thing was horrific. I mean, this thing dumped properly yesterday. We had a 14%er there. But yeah, I've pulled a fib for you guys. Look at this. So we've got a fib from this low over here to that high, and we've got the 200 MA, and they tied together, and lo and behold, we got a bounce. So again, we don't know if it's the end of the road for Litecoin, but if you're planning your levels and you're looking at areas, like it would have made sense to try and catch this wick here if you wanted to trade a bounce move.
Alex going like, whatever happened to the halving pump? Well, the halving pump, I still think will happen. But remember, when these big sort of macro events happen, they don't care about what events coming up. People get scared.
I mean, we're still all fans of Litecoin. When the macro situation obviously affects things, but we still think we can get it up here.
100%.
But now, like we trading under different conditions now. Like this whole thing with Coinbase, Binance. Here's Mask. We called this area during the session yesterday.
Yeah, you did.
Probably didn't think it would get you, but here we are. Ping the 200-day, ping the 786, ping the trend line. We identified it as like a high sort of bounce zone, and here we are. So maybe this is going to play out, maybe not. But we've got that's 9.5% move off this region here. So if you were long Mask, well done. You've made a nice little profit there.
So what are we seeing as good? I like this idea, this one.
This is Phantom.
Yeah.
So I mean, so again, I'm just showing you guys all these areas, but when you take these positions, you need to have your view on Bitcoin or the macro situation. Like if you think Bitcoin's going to go down, maybe now's not the time to be longing off these major support zones. If you're positive about Bitcoin, you think, okay, we got the double bottom, we should get a bounce here, then these are good zones. So you also need to decide your game plan on where you see BTC. There's a lot of guys talking still, like Jay was saying, the 24 level. Some guys talking about 22 is now on the table. So Bitcoin at 22 takes these alts to their next level. Lower down. So it's a decision you guys need to make and look at your areas and say, are you backing these areas? Because if Bitcoin shits itself, then we go to the next level. That's just how it's going to work. So if I have conviction that Bitcoin's going up, I would long these areas.
I think the important thing that's coming out here, and I want the community to understand that there's no one that knows what the market's going to do. Like, is AI going to come back? I saw a question. Is virtual reality? Are these gaming tokens and AI tokens and metaverse tokens? We don't know. Or we can work with these level by level. So you need to have a feeling on the narrative that you're liking. So like I still like render and that, and just work with the levels. To me, that's all. I see someone desperately asking for a graph. Carl Fowler, GRT.
Shall we take a look?
Then I just want to get on to...
Let's have a look at the graph here. Okay, so
today.
I mean, there we go.
And a double bottom.
This is a support area. So if BTC is going to go lower, we're going to lose these levels for sure. If BTC is going to hold, I think we're good.
Looks great.
These are areas to watch that we spoke about yesterday. Let's have a look here. See, that's a 5% stop from here. If you want to be long, it's quite tricky. So, I like to target this 200-day, but if we've got a candle lower down, you'll see crypto often likes to come and visit that candle again. So I always look at sort of the previous low daily to see how far things could really go. So ideally we wanted that candle up there. So that is something to watch. I mean, we often see this situation where they come and just do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, wary of that, but we're sitting on support now.
I thought, Dill, one of the things that I like to do on, when we've had previous Zooms in the past, on a day like this, is for the community just to write in the side learnings that they got from yesterday, whether they were good learnings or bad learnings. In other words, I never had a stop loss or whatever. And I just thought we could chat through some of the learnings that people thought of yesterday, because, you only learn in the loss. When you're making money, you just think you're a hero and you've got this. But it's when you incur those losses that you actually have to sit and think about it. Because if you don't think about why you took the loss, then the money that you've paid is kind of it's not a cost of doing business. That's wasted money. If you think about it, possibly make a note about it, to be aware of that in the future. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that, the team that's here.
Well, I mean, just from my side, like the time where I make losses, it's when I'm actually being careless. So sometimes it's overconfidence. So if you've had a very good few days and then things start dumping, you start getting a little bit careless and a bit loose with how you start playing things. So a key learning for me always is, to try and stay disciplined.
Okay. I think one of the things that, and I saw it coming up, and just a comment on that. I mean, when you've got a raging bull coin running, or you've got a massive dump that's incoming, one of the things that I find kind of almost goes out the window are your RSIs. They can't keep up with the pace of the drop or the pace of the escalation. So to try and rely on that in those extreme situations becomes difficult. I mean, I remember going right back to, I think it was 2019, there was a token that was a fraction of a cent, and this thing pushed up to 2 cents, and the RSI on the daily was completely overbought. So I sold out at 2 cents just to watch this coin carry on till 10 cents, that's one of the things that I learned at the time, is that those RSIs really, they just can't keep up with the pace. So you've really got to look at levels of where you're going to buy, where you're going to sell. I don't know if there's a comment on that. Preservation, I love that.
Yeah, you definitely gotta keep up with the levels. Like in a bull market, you might as well turn off your RSIs because you ain't that shit. You might as well turn off your RSIs because they're gonna be useless completely. Especially when Bitcoin is running like 20% in a day, and it keeps on running like 1 or 2%. The 4 hours gonna be way at the roof and just sitting there. The daily and the weekly just gonna be way up top. Like we just had that in January.
Yeah, so if I'm just having a look at some of the comments here, okay, well, I think we answered the question about Michael Rowan about how do you factor in RSI. Normally, absolutely use it. In extreme situations, it's difficult. I had a great learning over the weekend, Darren, but you didn't say what it was. Deborah Watkins, glad I had all of my stop losses for sure. Great. Okay, can we have an Airbnb? We'll look at that shortly. When dumping, zoom out, not in. Great comment there from Brian Bilbao. Zoom out, look at where we are in the bigger picture, because you can't keep track of it. It really is hard. And one of the things that I've learned, and it's like a sad reality, when my gut is telling me now I should sell, like on this dump, like get out now, I've had to learn that in the last sort of probably year, like just don't, because that's exactly the place it's going to bounce, and I had that with ETH. We had a big dump off in the earlier part of the year, and I sold my ETH at $1,350, and I kid you not, it was the exact bottom,
That was in March. That was that drop in March where we went down to the daily 200 at 20,000.
Yeah.
And you bailed there. So that was capitulation.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely
capitulated.
Yeah. So it's important, and people, I want you to understand that, community, that I want you to understand that just because we've been trading for years and overall we're very successful traders, which we are, we still make mistakes. And that's why community is so important. So please understand that. It's not like you think I'm going to get to a point and then I'm all's good. I mean, I remember when Dylan, when we were chatting with Gareth Soloway, he said he spent 15 years of school fees, 15 years before the last 5 years came together for him. So don't don't give up.
I mean, you learn from your losses, like you were saying, and like it sounds horrible, but you actually need to get liquidated or like take some big hits to actually really like absorb these lessons and keep you here, because it's so easy to get loose like very quickly. You have a few good trades, suddenly you think you're on top of things, and then it's like a great leveler. It's like golf. I mean, it's like really, this thing will flatten you so quickly the minute you get so sort of arrogant about it, or you think you know what's happening. That's where you get hit.
It's weird. It's like the minute that you lax, it's like the market can smell it. It's like, when you think like, it's like when you think the market is coming for me, it's got its eyes on me. And there was a guy in fact, it's just a family member of Sheldon's, and he didn't tell anyone, but he took the majority of his salary yesterday and put it on a leveraged long without a stop loss. I think he actually put all of his salary on, or pretty much all of it. And he didn't put a stop loss, and he was driving his car, and it was all good luck in profit when you guys were doing the live.
He went to the shop.
He went to the shop, and he saw his ass, so much so that he's lost the freaking month's salary because he didn't have the stop loss. Now, that is a real hard lesson to learn, like it's so hard to learn that lesson. So yeah, I guess he's got one that he can write down. So it's like, I don't leave the computer when I leverage trade. I don't leave the computer without a stop loss. And Jason, you were the one that taught me that. Like I don't even just go to the shop quickly,
Exactly.
because you can see your backside so fast. Light Painter says, I take screenshot of your charts. I think that's very good. And that's of our charts. I thought you'd be over your trade. But to go over these screenshots, yes. Go over your trades. Measy, that's desperately what we need here, Craig. No one knows, just the probability. Okay, we've discussed that. Sheldon really nailed the importance of stop loss, and it's stuck. Good. Stop losses saved me. Use stop loss on volatile tokens. Darren says, funny enough, I got lucky with the dump and shorted it in the last minute and still made my losses back. So it was a free lesson. Well done. Take that as that as a gift.
Yeah.
Take that as a gift.
Good to say.
Yeah.
Also, one thing that I want to add, just from being new to this, a lot of these exchanges will they'll default you. And I did it today this morning. I did a trade on Mask, and it was defaulted to 20x leverage, and I didn't realize it. Now I got stopped out, so it wasn't that bad. I was only, just be careful when you're on these exchanges, and make sure to adjust your leverage to 1x or wherever you feel comfortable, because that has happened to me.
Yeah, I mean, JL saying there, sometimes capital preservation is the best strategy. In other words, no trade is actually a trade.
Absolutely.
It's a good trade sometimes.
Yeah.
It really is.
Sometimes, there's sometimes I wished I'd never took a trade, certain days, and you get that itch. So Sheldon actually says it really well, Craig. Like, I think he recommends that you have a separate account for when you're feeling a little bit edgy. Then you go and play that game, but you play it away from your sort of responsible bag or your responsible trading account.
Yeah. I do think that if you have taken a smack, it really is time to reflect on it. And the best way to reflect is actually to stop trading. Don't revenge trade. Take a couple of days, even if it's a week, it doesn't matter. The market's always there, and reflect, I mean, I had this last year, I think it was almost a month and a half. I was just taking knock after knock after knock on a leverage trade. And then you keep thinking, well, I know all this stuff. I've been teaching it for years. If you're arrogant enough just to carry on trading, you keep. So eventually I said, right, you have to figure out, I was talking to myself, figure out what is going on. And I literally stopped for a month and a half on leverage trading. I said, I'm not doing it until I figure out what I'm doing wrong. I'm not going to be that arrogant to say I know it all and it's just unlucky, because unlucky is okay once or twice. But if you're lucky all the time, it's a problem. And stick to your narrative. I mean, I was chatting to Danny earlier, and she was in a theta short yesterday morning. She came into the office and everyone was quite bullish, so she closed her short. And then look what happened last night. So
Stick to your plan. Don't second guess yourself, because then the next time you second guess yourself the wrong way, and then you second guess yourself the wrong way again, and just have a plan and then just stick to it, guys.
Okay, Darren Trichard says stop losses set way too low. Stop losses are always the bane of everyone's ass. Doesn't matter who it is. It's like no matter where you set it, at some point it's going to not work for you, but at least you have it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and moving a stop loss should be a big lesson for a lot of people. Don't just move your stop loss, because then eventually you just wish that you actually did get stop lossed out at the first place that you placed your stop loss. Do ranging stop loss exist? Good question, JL. And that Absolutely does. So you can stop loss out in segments. So you could put 10% stop loss at this point, 20% at this point, and you can stagger your stop losses. I haven't seen that question asked for a long time, JL. Great question. So you don't have to do 100% at that level. You can just do 50%.
It's quite a personal thing. You need to find a stop loss system that works for you. For my strategy and the way I've traded over the last few years, the best for me is to give breathing room, so I don't like to do anything under like 2%, that sort of area. Some guys like to trade way shorter time frames and they like 0.5% stop loss and it works for them. Doesn't really work for my system. I like to let things breathe a little bit, sometimes even a little bit more, depending how I'm feeling. But then I'm looking at BTC as well and just getting a feel for the whole sort of market and the condition of things. There's a lot of traders I know that also they cut slowly on the way down, like you're saying. They just take portions off, and then they maybe look to add at certain areas and whatever on the way down. But you need to figure out what works for you and what works for, how you reacting to the screen when you seeing all these negative amounts. Like only you can tell how what's going to work there for you.
Yeah, Michael Brown says very helpful discussion. Thank you. Learning non-stop. Luba. Brian Bilbao again says, I grow at the rate of pain. That is such a good comment. I grow at the rate of pain. Yesterday I grew. Burn to learn, love it. We need to make a note of some of these things, Jackie. Losses equate to paying tuition. Platona, correct. Only if you sit and think about it. If you just walk away and go, well, I blew my account and that's that. Those school fees are wasted. Too old to give up 15 years. I'm too old to give 15 years. No, I agree. We've got to learn. But with a team like this, you actually, and actually, Gareth mentioned that at the time. He said, remember, because of the community, like you can drop that 15 years that like he'd been through, you can drop that right down, but you still have to go through a period of learning. There's no question about it, Someone's light painters, thank you for Jasmine yesterday, Dylan.
Yeah, I remember we looked at that.
That's a great saying there from Victor Ebo. He's saying he learned it in rugby. Success is a lousy teacher. Wow, Jackie, I hope you're making some notes of these, but even if you screen clip them out.
I am actually busy making the poll right now.
Okay, good to hear such honest chat from the bench crew. Yeah, Ratus, we real. We just like the minute anyone's coming out and telling you that they're the hero all the time, don't go to that channel. That much I can tell you. I think the market guys have a CCTV camera in my room watching me play trades. Yeah. The more your head goes away, I know, the more you trade. Yeah, look at mine. Okay, so I think we've been through a lot of lessons. I'm scanning through, but I think it's important that you take these important days, and if you don't analyze and learn from other people, as I say, waste of time, Brit to everybody. Yeah, blaming yourself. These sort of markets you can't blame. It's the market just is simple as that. And if you are,
you can't get cut up about it. Like as long as you have a system, if you're being reckless and you're playing games, then blame yourself for not being, responsible about what you're doing. But like if you have a system in place, you have your areas, you have your levels, just stick to your system because you're eventually going to come out on top. It's when you start getting loose and you start second guessing and changing your system all the time, then you're going to find yourself in a spot, I think. But once you develop a system, trade your areas, be patient. Don't just randomly open stuff because it looks good on a 1 hour. And we all make those mistakes. We've all done it. But just do the high percentage stuff,
Yeah, there's a very good learning here from Abhinay Ramanan. If I don't say your name right, but very good. And I think it's an important lesson. He said, I was trying to catch the bottom yesterday. We'll never do that again. And then a couple of other people commented on that. And I think that's such an important thing is that you think, well, it's got to turn. And it's such a fatal mistake that you think the top is in and it still goes higher, or the bottom is in and it still goes lower. I mean, that COVID crash was a very good example. Luna was a very good example. Tom Hugot actually discusses this a lot in his trading psychology lessons, where he says, we brought up in a kind of a retail society. You go into a supermarket and you're normally used to buying your whatever you're buying. Let's just say it's, eggs or whatever it is. And there's like buy 3, pay for 2. And so you have a perception that some things are cheap. But when it comes to trading, nothing is cheap and nothing is expensive. So, you can't think that that something that it's now that it's got to this price, it's too expensive. Who says that the market will determine the price? I think it's a good thing that you learned that. And unfortunately, with RSI and all these oscillating indicators, we're always actually looking for the opposite of what's going on. And Tom Hugot spends a lot of time on that, like the market's going up. So what are we looking? We're looking for the short. Market's going down. What are we doing? We're looking for the long. Why don't you actually look? That's what I was chatting to you about this morning, Bill. Why don't you look at following that trend? If something's really pumping like we had with render, and I saw David when I was watching your lesson, I mean, you were in and out of that render trade so many times during the competition because, okay, good, you took profit, but who says that's the top? So trailing stop losses might be another way. Enjoying today's session.
Yeah, so there was a character limit, so some of our sentence got cut in the heading, but the actual question is still correct.
Cool. Cool. I'm glad people are enjoying it. Right. So are we going to look at...
while you're chatting?
Mm-hmm.
I've just been playing around with some of these charts here, but this is AR, like Arweave at this is the Binance exchange. I mean, it's basically at all-time lows. 6.
But that also doesn't mean it's the bottom.
No, it doesn't. It could still go to 0, this thing, but again, like as far as levels are concerned, if I was watching this, I would have tried to pick it up down here, like right at this bottom squeeze down here, like 6.1, something like that. So yeah, if things stabilize, it's probably a great entry. If things don't, well, there's no level under this, so we don't know where it's going to end. Could just carry on.
I'm just looking at David. Are you commenting as Dave Sniper in the chat, or is that another Dave?
No, that's a different guy.
Okay, cool. All right. But yeah, clever there. I'm trying to work out stop losses by looking where the liquidity's at. Good. How to stagger the stop loss. Okay, it's a limit stop. Maybe we should actually look on the exchange. Gunter says, yeah, close my trades immediately when the shit started. Bank some profits, act immediately. Don't wait for it to bleed. Good point. It's often I was actually completely unrelated, but I was talking to someone with a property sale last night, and they were saying that often your first offer is your best offer. So you think, oh, I'm going to hang out for a longer, and then your first offer disappears, and you never land up selling or buying the property. So yeah, sometimes like you see it going, like just get out. Sometimes if that's the way you feel. I'm not like that anymore though. I'm more structured. 2 months. Are you not paying loads in fees? What coin's that there?
Sushi.
Yeah, but all of these things like 1-inch sushi, they all seem stuffed at the moment, hey, Bill?
But yeah, at some point they're going to start getting bought up. I mean, when I last checked, sushi was still an active project.
But there's a classic example of a double bottom and you just lose it. Because now where do you go? What I mean?
So this is the next major weekly area that I picked up on sushi is in this box. But again, there's no, sushi, uni, they're all looking a bit tired.
There's a reason for that.
I've been tracking for ages. Yeah, please tell us.
Okay, so the reason for sushi, uni, all of the DEX tokens looking so bad is because we're like in the grind of the bear market. So no one's actually investing in DeFi at this moment on large scale. So the moment DeFi starts picking up again, these tokens will pick up. But for now, they are pretty much just going to bleed until we get to the next bull run.
I would have thought
we were speaking about this.
I would have thought a bit differently. I would have thought with all this issue going on around Binance, Coinbase, and now what's going to happen is it going to be is it going to be KuCoin, Mexi? I even saw comments on there, should we be keeping coins on the exchange? I would have thought that the DEXs would have picked up because people would move their coins to a wallet and then rather trade decentralized. I mean, it's just my logic works that way. So I'm a bit surprised by this, the DEX drop, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's good and well. Like the DEXs are just the medium. People trading on them doesn't necessarily contribute mainly to their price.
Sure.
So here's a slightly interesting one, SXP.
Yeah.
I know Jay likes SXP. Possible double bottom here on the daily. We've got support, we've got 200-day. But again, BTC is going to decide what happens here, guys. But as far as areas go that look interesting, this is quite a nice one.
Yeah. I want to pick up specifically on a comment here, but before we go there, Dill, what's BNB looking like? I mean, after this thing.
Oh God, probably at 100.
Oh God. Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. I
300
can't
is
believe this thing didn't bounce here, and they didn't mince all these shorts though.
Yeah.
I'm quite shocked actually, but yeah, you know, we got to watch this wick down here for sure. And then this area is resistance until proven otherwise, you know.
Bill, when you finish here, I got one coin that I'm watching.
Yeah, please show us.
I want to see that, because then just while I'm doing it, before you bring that up, Mizi, I'm looking at your comment. I'm wondering if you, after Jason has showed this thing, if you'd be willing to unmute and talk about it. I don't like seeing that comment there. £10,000 to £1.50. Don't make that mistake. That's I've seen a couple of your comments through the chat today. I'm not sure if you want to, not now, in a little bit, if you want to unmute and chat. If you don't want to, that's fine. We can write it in the chat. Okay, go, Jay. Let's see what you got.
Cool. So I'm watching Rune. Now, Rune is not it used to be a very good coin a few years ago.
Last year.
But the reason I'm watching here is that if you ever look on the 12-hour on the daily, we've got strong bullish divergence. So if we look at price at the bottom here, it's been in a downtrend since sort of the middle of April. Yet look at what the RSI has been doing. So the RSI has actually been going up, yet price has been going down. So on higher time frames, this is definitely bullish divergence. It's not confirming this current drop that we're seeing. Now, if we switch on the support levels and we go into higher time frames, you can see, like most alts, we've come down into area of support. And this was November last year, where we had a reaction of this current area around about 105 to 110. And you can see that we've come down into that area again. So if we get some sort of reaction to the upside, I would expect us to possibly go up and retest the level that we were in at the beginning of the week, which was somewhere around about 117 up to 122. And then above that, we've got an area of 128 to 133. But we'd obviously have to break through this falling sort of resistance line that comes from the 21st of April. And then further up, we've got the daily, it is a day, I think, the daily 200 moving average right up here at 144, that would also be acting as possible resistance. So Rune is definitely, we need to keep an eye on it because of that bullish divergence we've seen on higher time frames.
Are there any fundamentals on Rune? Because, I mean, we used to trade this thing. It was one of the best to trade. It was always one of the first I jumped back into. So if we had like a pullback or whatever the story was, I always climbed into Rune because I knew it would move faster than the other
Exactly.
alts. But over the last 12 months, it's done like not much. It's been quite
like
quiet.
Tezos. Remember Tezos, how we did that? And we had a little bit of a run on SXP recently. But I mean, those were, Tezos, SXP, Rune. We made so much money on those in the past,
So what is the fundamentally what's going on there? Because there was so much talk about
let someone in the community just quickly jump onto their Twitter and see what's happening. Maybe they can make a comment. I did want to pick up on another comment on the side here, which was made from Abinay. I hope I'm saying your name right, and then Dave Sniper commented on it as well. And I actually want to knock this one out the park straight away, because the comment was basically that the exchanges, I think exchanges have this thing to liquidate to earn more fees, and then there's a bunch of comments that are following on it. So one of the privileged positions we have of being with Banter is that we get to speak to the exchanges that at a very high level. And I raised this exact question with a couple of the exchanges, and the concept is completely wrong. And I'll show you two things. One of the ways that we offer the school for free, the Sniper School, is because the exchanges actually sponsor you guys to come on the school. Why do they sponsor you to come on the school? Because they actually want you as a successful trader. Why do they want you as a successful trader? Because they're going to earn more fees over a longer period of time than you being liquidated and losing you as a client. So you need to understand that concept. The exchanges, sorry, do not stop hunt you out, but there are bots and there are institutions and they know where you are. So you need to, I know it's a hard one because you often think an exchange, that thing went right to my stop loss and then wicked off that thing. But as I say, there's very smart institutions, there's very smart bots out there, and that's why we've actually got to trade against them. So I think that's a hell of an important lesson. I don't know if anyone else has got a comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense, Craig. I mean, why would they want to chase you away? They want you here as a long-term client. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, don't ever catch a falling knife.
Also,
go.
Yeah, just to add to Craig's point, the way it works on that point is the share that the school gets is also bigger for successful traders. So why would we want people to lose?
No, it doesn't work like that. So, but I'm glad you raised the question, because it's definitely something because to me it was like, no, this is just too weird. Why has it come out and hunt me out at exactly my level, you know? And it is always hard. That's why I say, you think you've got that CCTV camera and they're watching you place your trades, but they don't. They also know where everyone's putting their stop losses, and everyone knows stop losses are going to be lower than the recent low, and they're going to go look at. And we are working on some strategies, guys, to show you those levels. Sorry, I don't know who's talking here. Jackie, I haven't been watching the comments. I don't know if Measy said she was wanting to unmute or not, because I'm like 60 messages behind here.
Okay, let's ask her.
Luba, best book Trading in the Zone, 100%. Guys, you need to get yourselves, especially if you're taking lots of knocks, get yourself a copy of Trading in the Zone. I know you can go, there's an audio book, you can get it on YouTube, but to me, you need a book. You need to be able to highlight it, you need to be able to make notes, you need to be able to go back to it. So, but maybe I'm just OG old school. Book is amazing. Yes, it is probably the most important book to read. Who wrote it? Mark Douglas. There's just so many questions here. But it looks like this doing some of the education and just letting the community ask stuff helps. I know that, Dylan, what's come up, or Jay, maybe either one or two of you can show it. There's a lot of questions here about, like, what are the retracement zones on a Fibonacci? So what are those zones, and how do you draw it? So I know Sheldon does cover in the school, but it might be worth re-looking at that.
Shall we give a quick demo on a clean chart?
Craig, just to let you know,
Jackie.
Missy is ready and she has unmuted herself.
Okay, can you spotlight her if she's got a camera on, or
camera's off?
Okay, spotlight anyway. Hi Mizzy, how's it going?
Hi, good, thank you.
Good. Okay, tell us the story. £10,000 to £1.50. Is that true?
Yep. And I can't even remember the coin because I've got like post-traumatic stress with that as well, because I can't even. I knew it began with S, but at the time it was just such a nightmare. I'd already lost 70,000 because I had it at 105 in it, and then when it had dropped that. On that particular day when I'd actually, I can't remember the actual day, but it dropped by 70,000, and after that I were a little bit cautious anyway. But then I basically went onto Coinbase, not at the same day, probably a couple of months after or what have you, and basically. I'd sold some of me other coins because I was going to put them all back into Bitcoin, and then this particular coin, it were being launched, so obviously I'd seen things where they go right up, so I thought I could put £100 in it and hope that it'd go up. But clearly it I don't know what happened. It kept crashing for some reason. It kept sort of going off, and then and I put what I thought were £100 in it, and then I realised that the whole lot were in it, and I tried to get out. I thought, right, I'm gonna have to sell it, and then then it started to go up a little bit, and I thought maybe I should just leave it a few minutes and see. And anyway, within 15 minutes, it pretty much all gone.
How did you feel? How did you feel after that? What were your emotions?
Shocking. I mean, the first time when I lost the 70,000, it was like end of world. It was just, I just couldn't believe that, because obviously I didn't know anything about it, how it worked or anything, which obviously was stupid. But clearly I've heard a lot of people do the same things. So, but you know, that's why I decided I needed to learn. Everybody around me like saying I'm stupid, you just need to get out of it, it's a scam and everything. But I thought, no, I need to learn. It was my fault because I didn't know what I was doing. So
does that make £120,000 in total that you lost?
No. It went up a little bit. I managed to get it back up a little bit, and I've lost 70,000 in total now, including that 10.
And then when did you, and I'm not punching the school with this comment in any way, but when did you then decide, look, I actually need to educate myself? At what stage?
Well, I started watching Sheldon from when he first came, and because it's been like two and a half, I can't even remember, it's forever. And I just thought I've got to learn. So obviously I watched a load of different ones, and the reason in the first place I didn't sell it when it were dropping were because they'd said don't sell, basically, you know, hodl it and it'll come back up. And so, which now obviously I'd have never done. Once it was starting to drop heavy, I'd have got out, but it was just, I didn't know. I didn't have enough knowledge, and I think that was the key. The lack of knowledge was immense, and so I learned the hard way.
Okay, so I've got a couple of things to say, Mizi. One, I now understand your comment earlier about you battling to pull the trigger. So because when you take a knock like that, it is hard to make a comeback from it. And I have a similar story, not that size, but a story that I'll tell you shortly. But we had another guy, Dill, you know who he is, that came into the office. He had $280,000, and then when he finally got down to like $5,000, the guy like came to our offices for help, and I'm like, well, what made you think between 285 and at $5,000 that I was doing something wrong? Like, why didn't you realize it? Why didn't you realize it at like 270 or 260 or something?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my word.
But these are the emotions that people go through, and it's just so important. And I'm not just pushing our school. Any form of education is important, because the retail trade that comes in without knowledge, thinking that the market is there to give you money rather than to take your money, is such a big thing. You think, well, this is so easy, and in a bull market, it is.
Yeah, well, definitely, because I actually started with 105,000 and it went up to 240, and obviously I should have sold it, but again, it's the not knowing, and so obviously I lost it all and more, and then obviously 70,000 of my own money that I'd actually had for something else that and it dropped out, and so basically I thought I'll just use it for a bit, and clearly I ended up without it. So
okay, well, you've got a lot of really beautiful comments, which you can go back and have a look in the group. So I'm really sorry for that. I'm glad that you joined us, and that's the purpose. We're really just trying to help everybody, you know.
And I think that to me is massive, because I feel like that there's a lot of people out there that aren't genuine, and I think that's a hard thing, because you've got to get around all these ones that well, I don't know, that obviously they're trying to promote what they're doing, but I think Sheldon were the one that were more, you felt like you knew he were genuine, and I think, and obviously as you go along and you watch somebody on a regular basis, you then see that, you know, they have got your interests at heart, and they know that, you know, they know how to progress. So I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, it's the best thing ever, and I think I feel so grateful that I've had opportunity to try. I'm still struggling, like, but
that's okay. Take it slowly. Don't put that kind of money in. Just some comments though. Obviously, and this is for the general community. Obviously, and because I was in that space in 2017 where I'd got into crypto, and then everything just started going crazy. I'd never learned to trade. I was like, I tried various, and I know Jason did as well, so many different groups and free groups and Telegram groups and whatever. And these guys were all out basically to, scam, rape, use my liquidity to dump on me, etc. And that is one of the problems. I mean, we saw Dylan when we were in Miami now. You say we've got this crypto school and it's free, then everyone's like, well, what's the catch? So sometimes if you don't pay attention. I honestly have that belief that, at least if you're paying for something, you appreciate it. But this is definitely, from my perspective, the best crypto school. I mean, we've developed it over many years. But you've just got to be discerning. Anyone that wants to take your money, invest with me, follow the strategy, buy this token, you've got to just be so careful. So I'm really sorry for it, and hopefully it will come back, and with some learning it will come back. But I hope that's a big lesson for people that are out there. Don't suddenly stop trading when you've lost 80% of your money or whatever. If you're losing consistently small amounts, like, just stop. The market's always there. Go and figure it out, and then start again. Start off small, But that's a big knock.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you.
Thanks for being honest and open to the community, Mizi. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Jackie, maybe just try and get Mizi's details as well.
Cool, got it.
Dill, do you want to do that fib?
Yeah. So I just wanted to show you. This is just the BTC chart. So I was just highlighting some areas. I wanted to see if we can get these fibs to tie in. So basically, my preferred fibs are the 382, 618, and 786. So the first pull on something like this, I'd probably do from here, this low over there, up there. Let me just mark it. There we go. So there's my preferred 3. So after this move down here, and we got to this high over there, this 382 would have been an area of interest for me to hold on the way down. Okay, so that's how I would have spotted that one. If we look at this lower pool here, if we pull from this low over there to this high up here, you can see how this 382 is tying in quite nicely here with this. It's quite a big weekly resistance area. So these are the 3 main guys that I watch. So you pull from the low of the area you're interested in to the high.
What's quite interesting though is I know people get confused and say, well, which low do I use? The interesting thing though is that if you use that other low, it still ties in with a fib. It might just be a different fib level.
Yeah, they often tie in with each other. Unfortunately, now this example, it doesn't, but often you will see these moves are very similar and they tie in. So you pull the 382, but then you go from the next one and you'll see suddenly there's a 618, on it. So it does happen quite a lot. And then some guys like to pull it from where the move started. So, if you're looking for confluence and things like that, like, you might take this as the low, for example, from where this move started. So play around with it a bit, but the basic principle is from the low to the high of a move. So, this is the 3-day. If we put this thing on the monthly, we should get one big move. See, so this is still one big move. There's no sort of dip in between on this monthly. It's just sort of straight up there, you see. And then the daily, it obviously looks a little bit different. The daily, then we start looking at this guy over here. So that's why, I quite liked this area at the time. It was holding quite well there for a while, until yesterday they came to kill us. Let me see if we can get a retracement here for you guys. So if we're looking for targets, the first sort of area I would look at would be this high over there. We pull it to the low, and we look at areas of interest for BTC. So
Hey,
you see that
Dill,
this
there's an
382.
interesting question just off of what you're saying there right now. Someone was asking, when do we consider 382, 50, or 681, 618, sorry.
So
Like, how
they're
do we
just
choose?
they're just levels to watch and to monitor to form confluence with everything else. And it's what's important to note is that 0.5 is not actually a Fibonacci number. So people put it in just because it's the midline between the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
So 0.5 is not a fib number. 382 is a fib, 618, 786, and 886, which is one of my
So, and it's percentages. So it's 38.2% and 61.8% of the move. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if I pull this fib from the top here, from this high, you can see this 382 ties in quite well as a nice target zone. You know, so this would be quite a big area of interest for people looking to short if we ever get that high. You know, and then just looking at this chart on the weekly, just happens to be BTC, but I mean, I'd look at something like that, you know, something along those lines.
You could use you could use
I just want to send us to the moon, basically. Every time I draw it pointing up. I don't want to send us down at all.
Yeah. Go to 8, Dylan, and draw it from that previous wave down.
8.
Yeah, and then look at it on a 1 hour. And you'll see your go to the 1 hour. Well, draw the fib on the 4 hour and then go down to the 1 hour. Or you can do it that way too.
So do you want me to pull from there?
No, bottom to top.
There you go.
No, bottom to top. Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. That's a nice 382 retracement there.
Yeah. So when you see it bounce on when you see it so what I was looking at earlier, I was looking at the short because I have all the confidence in the world that it should come back down. I had until this morning, around 8 o'clock my time, was like an hour ago. But basically, like Dylan's saying, when it got to that 382 area and it didn't close under it, then that was a bounce idea. So you would have longed off of that candle.
Yeah, on that pullback. And then here, this is how you'd look for the retracement. So, you know, once we'd marked this bottom, so this thing came down, you find the bottom. Okay, so then you'd pull your fib down there, okay, to the low. So from the high to the low. And then you start looking at areas where you'd want a TP or short. Okay, you can see how it's reacting at these fibs here. Every time there's been a little bit of a step here.
I see a lot of questions in the chat, and I want to really discuss it now. But the people that are really interested, you need to just go anywhere on YouTube and just go and just search Fibonacci numbers. And I'm talking outside of trading. You know, they call it God's number, they call them God's ratios. You know, virtually all of creation ties into these numbers, and hence trading also does. So yeah, go and spend some time. That really is very interesting, you know.
It is a bit strange that we use that as a tool, though, I must say. It's like, but it just works,
you know, in nature.
Yeah, so, and everybody uses it too. So we're all reacting at the same areas, including the bots that we're trading against. So, you know, especially if you're trading the lower time frame stuff, like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, that sort of stuff, you're basically fighting computers.
But generally, I mean, if a tokens, which we haven't had for a while, starts getting into all-time highs, and you've got no price action to find targets, your only targets are what are known as fib extensions. We won't get into that now, but you can extend the Fibonacci. So, and then it starts giving you levels that it's going to hit, you know. I'm trying to think of a recent one that we had. Like Pepe was working to fib extensions perfectly, you know. That's when it was.
But Aptos have also done that, Greg?
Yep. Aptos.
when you look at the start of, I don't know what, but that's not from the real start of it. When we had that massive surge before it even came to the DEXs, before it came to the centralized exchanges, But
yeah. But we would have pulled it from there to there, I think, and then we would have tried some negative fibs, I think. So let's see if we can get this right. Yeah. Let's see where the negative 1618 takes us. Yeah. Okay, there's the 2 and 4, 3. Where's the 1? You see the 1618, yeah.
No, you just put it in. Just over type 1.
It's not giving it
minus.
to me.
I think you had minus 1.618.
Yeah.
Play around with it. I mean, they really, really are very powerful. That's it.
Okay, so this isn't the best example, but yeah, it does work. You can find sort of areas. Well, there, the 2618, there was a reaction there. But I think Pepe's done. What do you guys think?
Done.
Yeah, it's done, huh?
I don't know. People will be looking at that last green candle and saying it's round 2 now.
I'm gonna tell you like this.
Well,
when
they're
the
wrong.
market come, you better have you some Pepe.
Yeah, I mean, is Doge done? That's the question. Is the new one Pepe for the next bull market? Because I mean, surely SHIB is also finished.
You think that? Like people gonna just FOMO into those coins just because when it's gonna be another like those now that they're on a centralized exchange. When the bull market comes, they're gonna get at least about 3 in between 3 to 900%. Especially toward the end of the bull market when all the main coins ran. Because when the bull market was pretty much over with, SHIB did 900%. And Doge did like 300 or 400.
That's mad.
It's crazy. I don't even understand why people it just don't make sense to me.
See, there's some rejection here and some slight pullbacks again on some of these tokens.
I'm attempting my short again because it's a low
surprisingly stable though.
Yeah.
Actually, when I saw that Coinbase thing, I actually thought it was over. I mean,
yeah, I thought here we go.
Yeah. So that's a decent looking candle there. Back at resistance, you can see why this is a reaction area, guys. This was the previous support. Now we're banging against the old support, so it becomes a resistance zone.
Yeah, I see a lot of comments there about degens around Pepe, pumpermentals, not fundamentals. Look, when I see those things come along, I'm on board. Take a small amount of money, but I know the rules. I know what I'm playing.
You don't have to ask Craig twice.
I'm in. But I know the rules of the game, and I'm in, and that's that. Because I know.
But you're in it for the tech, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I love the Pepe, the meme. Guys, I think we've had a great session today. I think let's wrap it. We've done like 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's been great.
There's a nice comment there from Mizi. I haven't read it all, but can you make a copy of it there, Jackie?
Can I make one quick comment?
Sure.
For all the students on here, if you're ever running into any issues or questions about stuff, on Discord, that's what all the mods are for. Always feel free to go into any of the chats and post a chart, ask a question, tag the mods, and we just absolutely love helping you guys learn and get better at this day in, day out. So I just wanted to remind you guys of that. We're there for you.
I think the best area to get help from us, because there's so many tabs in here, will probably be the sniper chat. Like if
Yeah.
y'all tag us in the
Yeah.
sniper chat, then
Yeah.
we'll see it.
But if you tag any of the mods, we will see it. And no matter what the time zone is, because we're all around the world, we'll see it and do our best to help you out. We're there for you.
Nice, Bruce.
Cool, guys.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
See y'all
Guys,
tomorrow.
we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep.
Looking for
Have fun,
entries tomorrow,
everybody.
hopefully.
We're looking for green candles.
Yeah, I'm looking for BNB to go back up to that candle there and close that imbalance.
At 300?
Yes, at 300.
Okay.
Guys,
Awesome.
yeah, let's reconvene tomorrow and hopefully we got some trades set up. We'll see.
I think
you
we
then.
got some nice ones
Cheers,
today
everybody.
already. At any rate, I mean, as I say, we'll
Look,
look.
they're good areas. Just be careful. That's all. These are good areas. So you don't want to be like 50xing this stuff, but like good areas. Play the good areas. If we get a move in the middle of the night, maybe we get big green candles. Maybe tomorrow we're looking at shorts into resistance areas. So let's see.
I think one of the things that I wanted to say, sorry, just while we wrap, is that with everything that's happened now with Binance, Coinbase, etc., I think the likelihood of new money coming into crypto right now is difficult, and is improbable. So what I'm looking for is that the same money is going to be shifting around various narratives. We want to be on those narratives, and you want to take your money before it moves off to the next one. Remember, take your money before someone else takes yours. So I don't see new money coming in with this fear that's out there right now. Everyone is here is careful because you've stood the test of time. You deserve to make it,
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cheers,
Thank you,
everybody.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
Sean.
Rock. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.